All right, let's get into it. What is multi-dating? Multi-dating is a strategy where you can date multiple people at one time with the intention being to form some type of long-term committed relationship. So with this, right away we're getting into one of the nuances of multi-dating where you're not dating multiple people, perhaps two or three is a general good number to follow so you don't get too overwhelmed. You're not dating multiple people forever. In fact, you're not really dating multiple people longer for than 2 or 3 dates before you decide, for me, I want to continue this, or not for me, I don't wish to continue this. And then you end it. And you may multi-date a little bit longer than that time frame up to the point where you decide on exclusivity with someone. So we're just going to be dating the two of us, even if you make it official, even if you don't, you're deciding together what type of connection we want to have with one another. Are we only going to date each other? Are we going to date each other but continue to date other people? Maybe we're leaning more polyamorous in that way. All the while, even with multi-dating, you are moving toward exclusivity. We're determining what type of relationship, what type of connection we're going to have together. And of course, they get to decide as well if they are looking for the same things. And this is one of the biggest differences from perhaps roster dating, going with the flow, playing the field kind of thing. If you've heard some of those terms out there dating, you probably have, where you might have someone you hang out with on the weekends, someone you hang out with during the week, someone you hang out with when you go back home, when you travel to this place, when you travel to that place, someone you text, another person you text, someone you go on dates with, someone you only sleep with, right? You kind of have this group of people that you are dating in different ways, but a relationship is not really the intention. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you end up dating someone a little more seriously than someone else. Maybe you don't. But your intention, if you are dating monogamously, isn't to commit to just one person. With roster dating, you're, dating around. Multi-dating, even if you're dating multiple people at one time, which multi-dating, yeah, right there in the term, you're not dating multiple people forever. Ultimately, you're looking to identify, decide on one, and enter into a relationship with them, co-create that connection together. And now you may be wondering, well, Benjamin, how do you even get a date? Those are some other conversations. I have a video up on YouTube about how to move off the apps and onto a date. And I think many episodes of Flirtations will be really helpful, especially the ones on flirting. All right, so we've determined what multi-dating is, how that is different from roster dating, and some of the nuances of multi-date. Now let's get into some of the more specific questions. Why would you want to multi-date? Here are some of the reasons why you may want to, and also somewhat ironically, these reasons why you may want to also may be reasons why you don't want to. So some of the reasons why multi-dating may be for you, it reduces the pressure on one person to be your everything, right? If you tend to over-attach quickly, if you tend to go into limerence, if you're maybe more of an anxious attacher, you just kind of make one person your everything before you really get to know them. You're really going into that fantasy of who you think they are, who you could be together, and really building up a lot of expectations, putting them up there on that pedestal, right? And so multi-dating can be advantageous to you here as you're able to see dating a little bit more objectively, where let's say you're dating 2, 3 people, and over a span of a few weeks, 1 week, you're going on a date with person A and B. The next week, you got a date lined up with persons A and C. Then the next week, you're going to see A and B again. And then you decide, okay, B isn't really for me. I'm going to stick with A, but then I'm going to set up another date with C, or talk about, hey, really want to see you again kind of thing. And it can help you see, okay, I really like these traits of person A and person C. Person B had this, but they're not really what I'm looking for. We're not aligned on some of these key things. There's a few deal breakers there. So yeah, person B is out. I'm going to stick with A and C for now. Versus if you're only dating, let's say, person B to begin with, and you're just feeling like, oh, right, what if I never find someone that's even agreeing to go on dates with me again, someone that's even expressing interest in me? Well, they're checking a few of my boxes. There's some attraction there, like a little bit of a spark. It's not amazing, but we do have all these other things in common. You might be inclined to just keep going on with person B, even though you know in your heart of hearts that they are not the one for you. And so if you're dating a few people at one time, it can just help you see the dating process a little bit more objectively and not put all your eggs in one basket. Along with this, it can help you clarify what you're looking for in a partner, what type of relationship connection you want, and ultimately how you want to feel in that relationship, in that connection, where you're going to be getting probably different experiences from the different people that you're dating. And so it can help you identify if perhaps you're unsure what some of those standards are, what some of those boundaries are, what some of those deal breakers are. Dating around a little bit, multi-dating can help you identify some of those things, the needs, wants, desires, all of that good stuff. If you're perhaps unsure, you don't have a lot of dating experience, or maybe you're getting back into dating after a long-term relationship or a break. It also can help to normalize the exploration part of the dating process, where I know we're looking for just that instant spark, chemistry, attraction. I'm not saying to sacrifice any of that. And yet also a lot of dating happens in the gray, in the nuances, right? In the moments in between, what's happening in between dates, what's happening in those pauses, those moments of silence on the date. Sometimes, at least a little bit, it's about what happens in between. And dating, I've always said, is data-ing. It's about gathering information about who someone is, what their intentions are. Do their words and actions align? How are they showing up? What are they looking for? Are they able to express interest? Are they able to be vulnerable? Are you able to do that as well? It's all going to be very, very important. And multi-dating can help to normalize this exploration part of the early dating process, so that you perhaps don't overinvest in someone too soon before they've really demonstrated that they have wants, needs, desires of their own, that they have standards, expectations, deal breakers, and boundaries of their own, before someone has allowed themselves to be vulnerable and present enough to start to co-create a little bit of that foundation you need to decide, is this someone that I could date beyond dates 2 and 3? Is this someone I could date long term? Is this someone that's looking for a relationship? Is this someone that I would want to explore a relationship with? All right. So for all those reasons why multi-dating may be right for you, all those reasons may be reasons why you don't want to multi-date. It may be overwhelming to you. How do you keep all these different people like separate in your mind, right? Are you taking notes? Are you tracking your dates? Who said what? Who's who kind of thing? It may give you some anxiety, which I completely understand. If you feel like you're doing something wrong, like there's some guilt or shame in this, that's like something to notice and to explore. You're not inherently doing anything wrong. And this is one of the misconceptions here. You're not leading people on. You're not dating someone for months and months on end, all the while you're dating other people at the same time, never really looking to form a relationship long term, never really being vulnerable about what you're looking for, not asking them those questions as well, not sacrificing right boundaries, just always being available all the time, just being really, really easy to date, not having wants, needs, desires. No, like part of this is being a little bit difficult to date. Dating you should not be easy, because this is going to repel the people that only want convenience and to date when it's easy, right? Which also they probably only want one thing a lot of the times. So if you're having some guilt, shame that you're doing something wrong, I understand, but you're not lying to people. You're not leading people on. If you haven't tried it out, try it out. See how you feel. You can always change your mind and decide, nope, not for me. All good. You can change your mind in dating. People do it all the time. You can always be very upfront in the early dating process as well that we're not exclusive, right? I am going on other dates. That is okay to talk about. It's fair game. It may not be something you want to talk about. It may not be something the other person wants to hear. And yet this built-in expectation that when you go on a first date that you're like single, right? You're not dating to or talking to anyone. If you're on the apps, that you're not having conversations with anyone else on the apps. I mean, it's reasonable that on a first date, you might have also gone on a date the week before. You got one set up for the next week. You're talking to at least one other person. So I would say if you're dating, you might already be multi-dating and just not know it yet. All right, I want to touch on here some of the pitfalls of multi-dating. There are really two, and one is the comparison trap, where I know a few moments ago I told you that multi-dating can help you date more objectively, and yet if you feel like you're constantly comparing other people to other people, like you're comparing date A to date B or date A to dates B and C. It's not so much about comparing other people to other people. It's about centering yourself in the dating process. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I desire. This is what I'm looking for. Who am I feeling like is showing up most aligned with that? Use yourself as the barometer rather than being like, oh, right, this person did this person said that. Like, that's information, but how do you want to feel in a relationship? Who seems to be creating that feeling with you a little bit more? Whose words and actions align? Who has similar intentions as you? Who is having those conversations with you? And who are you having those conversations with? And trusting your gut, trusting your intuition here as well is going to be really important if you get into one of those situations where you're just like, how do I pick? How to I pick? Another kind of pitfall that can happen in multi dating is if you're applying different boundaries to different people, you're treating different people like your dates A, B, and C differently. So, an example here, y'all know, or maybe you don't, I have a 3 public date rule. So, your first 3 dates, I want to see in public. And let's say you follow that, you do that for date A. Date B, though, on the second date, they're like, come back to my place. Come back to my place. Let's watch a movie. I want to cook you dinner. Let's get some takeout, order in, and just hang out kind of thing. Okay, if a 3 public date rule is a boundary for you, then that applies to everyone you date. You don't get to change your mind for date B because now all of a sudden you're applying different criteria, different boundaries to different people you date, and that takes some of the objectivity out of this multi-dating process. All right. Now let's get into a couple different ways that you can multi-date, as I've been talking about some of the timing elements of this, some of the nuances, what multi-dating is, what it is not, some of the misconceptions, some of the traps you may fall into. And there are 2 ways you can multi-date. The timeline I referenced earlier in this conversation about balancing those dates over a period of time. So let's say you're dating person A, B, and C over a period of a couple weeks, 3 weeks, even 4 weeks, right? Getting to about that 2-3 date mark before you make a decision. Do I want to continue dating this person or do I not want to continue dating this person? Multi-dating up to the point of exclusivity, which comes at around, let's say, that 4-week, 4-date-ish mark. Of course, and this is my Libra-ness coming through, that's a general timeline, and you don't have to follow this timeline with complete specificity and rigidity, but I offer it to you so you don't, right? You're not dating someone for 2, 3, 4 months and you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting their time. You're not having the conversations that you ultimately should be having if a relationship is the why behind why you're dating. So spacing out your dates over a period of time can be one way you multi-date. You can also do burst dating. So let's say you're on a dating app, you went to a singles event, you went to a mixer, you went to a party, you went somewhere where you met a few people. You could line up a few dates all in 1 week. You could line up a few dates all in 1 day over a span of a couple days over a weekend and set up a bunch of dates at one time, let's say 2, 3 dates. And then after those 3 dates, I mean, you're kind of creating your own speed dating event for yourself, right? Where it's just you going on multiple dates over a span of a short period of time. And then after those few dates, you decide, I want to go on a second date with this person, or I want to go on a second date with this person and this person. And this person, nope, not making the cut for me. So you can burst date by kind of setting up your own speed dating event. All right, flirties, I hope this was helpful. I'll answer one more question here. Do I multi-date? No, I don't multi-date, but I also recognize, like, if you feel pressure if you feel like even you're running out of time and this pressure can be coming from your own internal expectations, maybe pressure you're placing upon yourself. This pressure could come from external sources, perhaps family, friends, society in general, right? Maybe if you're kind of the last single friend left in your friend group, or you're getting some of those questions, comments from family like, so when am I going to have grandkids kind of thing? Like, oh, so still single, dating anyone special? Like, ugh, all your siblings have gotten married at this point. When am I going to get to go to your wedding? Come on, I'm not getting any younger here, right? I think we've all gotten some of those questions and comments from friends and family. And so if you feel like there is some rush, some expectation, some pressure, then I understand why multi-dating, for none of the reasons we've actually talked about today, might be one of the reasons you want to multi-date, because to an extent, dating is a little bit of a numbers game. It is a little bit of quantity, not over and above quality. And yet we might have to kiss, so to speak, a lot of frogs before we find the prince. At least that's what I'm looking for. Maybe you're not looking for a prince, all good, but it's a little bit of a numbers game at the end of the day. And yet I'm always left with this thought and this feeling that it just takes one. Like, it just takes one person who can truly change everything. That change ultimately starts from within. It starts by asking yourself for more. Too often in dating, we ask the wrong people for more. Flirty, they can't give you more if you're not asking for more from yourself. So it starts really with you. I know a lot of you listening and watching are doing that work, and I see you and I'm excited for you, and I'm really, really proud of you. And it really does take one person who just shows up differently than all the rest, who helps you work through some of the internal beliefs you might have, that you're hard to love, that you're not good enough, right? That you never thought it was going to happen, that you're not pretty enough, handsome enough, whatever it may be. All of those, none of those, we heal relationally. And a huge part of healing is going to happen in connection and partnership and in relationship. And ultimately, I am a firm believer that at the end of the day, it just takes one. So while I understand you might feel some of that time pressure, perhaps the rush, the just weight of expectations, like all eyes are on you kind of thing. And so multi-dating for that reason may be a strategy you want to try. Like, at least I'm pushing forward, right? I'm moving closer towards the relationship. I'm going on dates with multiple people at a time. And with each date I go on that's not my person, I'm getting closer to the person that is going to be my person. I want to echo here one of the quotes from Lily Womble, who's on my podcast not too long ago, that just also sticks with me, that I feel fits here, and that's, "You're for the few, not the many, Flirty. For the few, not the many, and it only takes one." So a long-winded way to answer why I don't multi-date. I mean, I'm also the type, like, I get overwhelmed, like, dating multiple people at one time. I've tried it. I get kind of anxious, like, oh my gosh, what if I call someone the wrong name? What if I reference, like, oh, so about your sister, about your brother? And then, like, no, I told you I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings. Oh, right. I was watching my favorite TV show the other day. It must have been The Housewives talking about their siblings. Right. Just play it off, Benjamin. Play it off. So for those reasons and a few more, I don't personally multi-date. And also, I don't feel like, I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm okay with the timing of things. And I believe that as long as I show up intentionally for myself, as long as I look to create some connections, as long as I am dating, right? Putting some energy and focus on dating and flirting, all the while that I'm still, even though I'm not multi-dating or going on a lot of dates, I'm still moving closer towards my goal of a long-term committed relationship. All right. This has been a conversation all about multi-dating, what it is, what it is not, how this works, how you can multi-date yourself, why people do it, why you may not want to do it, and how to know if perhaps it is right for you. Yes, this is going to be the official conclusion now. Thank you so much for listening or for watching. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show. I know I ask y'all all the time, but truly, please do. please do perhaps subscribe to the channel as well. FlirtTube, you can watch this whole conversation if you're watching me right now. Hello, thank you so much for being here, and then share this video, this Flirtini, or another favorite flirt coach conversation with someone you want to share some BFE, big flirt energy with, that may need to hear some of the advice, some of the mindsets, tips and tricks in here, or yes, in another video or episode. All right. Thank you so much for being here again. Signing off officially from here at Flirt Headquarters. My name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and gay Libra Flirty. Happy flirting.